George Washington's early years and youth, spanning from his birth in 1732 to around 1752, laid the foundation for the remarkable life that would unfold. Born in Westmoreland County, Virginia, Washington came into the world on February 22, 1732, into a family of some affluence. His family's plantation, located in the colonial South, exposed him to the agrarian lifestyle and the socio-economic dynamics of the region. Washington's formal education was rather limited, reflecting the norms of the time, but his inherent curiosity and practical experiences on the family's tobacco plantation provided a unique education in its own right. His father's early death when George was just 11 years old placed him under the guidance of his half-brother Lawrence, who played a significant role in shaping his early years. As a young man, Washington developed a keen interest in surveying, a skill that would prove valuable in his future endeavors. At the age of 16, he embarked on a surveying expedition to the Shenandoah Valley, gaining not only practical surveying skills but also a first-hand understanding of the vast and varied landscapes of the Virginia frontier. In 1751, at the age of 19, Washington's life took an unexpected turn when he accompanied his ailing half-brother Lawrence to the island of Barbados in the Caribbean, hoping that the climate would improve Lawrence's health. This journey exposed Washington to a broader world, both culturally and geographically, leaving an indelible mark on his perspectives. Tragedy struck the Washington family in 1752 when Lawrence succumbed to tuberculosis. The death of his half-brother had a profound impact on George, catapulting him into the role of managing the family estate, Mount Vernon. Despite the challenges, Washington's early experiences in estate management and surveying shaped his work ethic, resourcefulness, and leadership skills. These formative years laid the groundwork for Washington's future military and political endeavors. The combination of practical experiences on the plantation, exposure to diverse landscapes, and the responsibilities thrust upon him at a young age contributed to the development of the resilience and leadership qualities that would define his later life. Little did the young Virginian know that the lessons learned in those early years would prepare him for a pivotal role in the founding of a new nation. George Washington's military career during the French and Indian War, 1753 to 1758, marked a significant chapter in his life, foreshadowing the leadership qualities that would later define him as a central figure in American history. In 1753, at the age of 21, Washington was appointed a major in the Virginia militia and given the daunting task of delivering a message to the French in the Ohio Valley, demanding their withdrawal from territory claimed by the British. This diplomatic mission proved unsuccessful, and tensions escalated into open conflict, marking the beginning of the French and Indian War. Washington's leadership skills were quickly put to the test, and he found himself at the forefront of military engagements. In 1754, he led an ill-fated expedition that resulted in the Battle of Fort Necessity, where he faced his first major military setback. This early experience, however, provided valuable lessons in strategy, logistics, and the complexities of frontier warfare. As the conflict intensified, Washington's military prowess began to shine. His resilience and strategic acumen caught the attention of British military leaders, leading to his appointment as a colonel in the Virginia Regiment. He played a crucial role in several key battles, including the Battle of Monongahela in 1755, where British General Edward Braddock was killed, and Washington emerged as a resilient and capable commander. Washington's military service during the French and Indian War extended beyond the battlefield. His administrative skills and commitment to his soldiers' welfare contributed to the effectiveness of the Virginia Regiment. Despite the challenges of harsh wilderness conditions and limited resources, Washington's ability to maintain discipline and morale among his troops earned him respect. The French and Indian War concluded in 1763 with the Treaty of Paris, which marked a significant shift in the balance of power in North America. Washington returned to civilian life at Mount Vernon, having gained not only military experience but also a first-hand understanding of the complexities of colonial and imperial relationships. The lessons learned during the French and Indian War profoundly influenced Washington's perspectives on military strategy, leadership, and the importance of a united front against external threats. These experiences would prove invaluable during the American Revolution, where Washington would once again be called upon to lead the Continental Army to victory against formidable odds. George Washington's role in the American Revolution, 1775 to 1783, is a cornerstone of his legacy, solidifying his status as a founding father and the indispensable leader of the fledgling United States. In the early stages of the conflict, Washington was appointed as the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army by the Second Continental Congress in 1775. This appointment reflected not only his military experience from the French and Indian War but also his stature as a unifying figure among the colonies. Washington faced numerous challenges as he took command. The Continental Army was ill-equipped, lacking discipline, and faced the formidable British military. The iconic image of Washington crossing the icy Delaware River to surprise the Hessians at Trenton in 1776 exemplifies his determination and strategic acumen during these difficult times. The harsh winter at Valley Forge in 1777 to 1778 became a turning point for Washington and his army. Despite the harsh conditions, Washington implemented essential reforms, improving training, discipline, and overall military organization. The alliance with France in 1778 also provided critical support, contributing to the eventual success of the American cause. One of Washington's most significant achievements was the Siege of Yorktown in 1781, where he, along with French forces under General Rochambeau, successfully trapped the British army led by General Cornwallis. The surrender of Cornwallis effectively ended major fighting and paved the way for peace negotiations. Throughout the war, Washington faced not only military challenges but also the delicate task of navigating political dynamics among the 13 colonies and managing the expectations of Congress. His leadership was characterized by a balance of strategic insight, diplomatic finesse, and unwavering dedication to the cause of American independence. Washington's decision to voluntarily relinquish his military command in 1783 after the Treaty of Paris was signed demonstrated his commitment to the principle of civilian control over the military, a crucial precedent for the new republic. This act reinforced the idea that the United States would be a nation governed by laws and not by military authority. In recognition of Washington's pivotal role, he was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States in 1789. His leadership during the American Revolution and his presidency set essential precedents for the nation's political and military institutions, leaving an enduring mark on American history. Washington's legacy is not only that of a military hero but also of a visionary statesman whose leadership was instrumental in the birth of a new and independent nation. After the American Revolution, George Washington's retirement to Mount Vernon marked the beginning of a new phase in his life, characterized by political reflection, a dedication to agricultural pursuits, and a deep commitment to the ideals of the newly formed United States. Following the Treaty of Paris in 1783, which officially ended the Revolutionary War, Washington resigned his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army, emphasizing the principle of civilian control over the military. This act underscored his commitment to the republican ideals of the new nation and set a precedent for the peaceful transition of power, a principle that would later shape the presidency. Retiring to his beloved plantation, Mount Vernon, Washington aimed to resume a life focused on agriculture and family. However, his aspirations for a tranquil retirement were soon challenged by the political turmoil of the post-war period. The weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation, the nation's first governing document, became apparent, leading to economic instability and social unrest. Washington's concerns about the fragility of the young republic prompted his participation in the Constitutional Convention of 1787 in Philadelphia. Elected as the convention's president, Washington played a crucial role in guiding the debates and fostering compromise. His presence lent credibility to the proceedings, and his advocacy for a strong central government was instrumental in the drafting of the United States Constitution. The ratification of the Constitution in 1788 was a pivotal moment in American history, and Washington's support for the document helped assuage fears and gain broader acceptance. In 1789, he was unanimously elected as the nation's first president under the new Constitution. Washington's presidency, 1789 to 1797, was characterized by the establishment of essential norms and institutions. He formed the first cabinet, with figures like Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton, to provide diverse perspectives in governance. Washington's leadership style emphasized consensus building and a commitment to national unity, as demonstrated by his handling of the Whiskey Rebellion in 1794. After serving 2 terms, Washington voluntarily stepped down from the presidency in 1797, reinforcing the precedent of limited terms in office. He returned once more to Mount Vernon, intending to spend the remainder of his days in private life. Tragically, Washington's retirement was short-lived, as he passed away on December 14, 1799. His death prompted a nation to reflect on the loss of its founding father and to recognize the enduring impact of his leadership on the United States. George Washington's withdrawal from public life after the Revolutionary War and his subsequent return to address the challenges facing the young nation highlight his enduring commitment to the principles of the Republic. His political activities during this period not only shaped the founder. Alright, now we're going to delve into a fascinating chapter in American history, focusing on George Washington's pivotal role in the Constitutional Convention of 1787. This event is crucial in understanding how the United States transitioned from the Articles of Confederation to the Constitution we know today. Now, after the American Revolution, the weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation became apparent. The nation faced economic challenges, social unrest, and difficulties in maintaining order. It was during this period that George Washington, having retired to Mount Vernon, found himself deeply concerned about the future of the young republic. In 1787, representatives from the states gathered in Philadelphia for what would become the Constitutional Convention. Washington's presence at this convention was not just symbolic, it was instrumental in shaping the course of American history. He was unanimously chosen to preside over the convention, a testament to the respect and trust his fellow delegates had in him. Washington's leadership during the convention was marked by a commitment to order, decorum, and compromise. His stature as a war hero and the first president of the United States lent a sense of authority and credibility to the proceedings. He didn't dominate the debates but played a crucial role in guiding discussions toward consensus. The Constitutional Convention faced numerous challenges, including debates over representation, the balance of power between states and the federal government, and the contentious issue of slavery. Washington's presence helped maintain a sense of purpose and encouraged open dialogue. Ultimately, the result of the convention was the United States Constitution, a document that established the framework for the federal government and remains the supreme law of the land. Washington's support for the Constitution was pivotal in securing its ratification, as his endorsement reassured many who were uncertain about the new form of government. This process showcased Washington's commitment to the ideals of a strong and united nation. His involvement in the Constitutional Convention demonstrated not only his leadership skills but also his dedication to the principles of governance that would shape the foundation of the United States. In conclusion, George Washington's participation in the Constitutional Convention was a critical moment in American history. It reflected his deep concern for the stability and success of the young nation and highlighted his ability to bring people together for a common cause. The Constitution that emerged from this convention laid the groundwork for the American government we know today. Now we're going to explore a pivotal period in American history, the first presidency of George Washington. This era, from 1789 to 1797, set the tone for the new nation and established essential precedents for the office of the president. As many of you know, George Washington was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States. He took the oath of office on April 30, 1789, on the balcony of Federal Hall in New York City. At that time, New York served as the temporary capital. Washington faced a daunting task in the early days of his presidency. The United States was a young and fragile nation, and the form and function of the federal government were still being defined. Washington was acutely aware that his actions would establish crucial precedents for future leaders. One of the first challenges Washington faced was the need to form a cabinet. He selected key figures such as Thomas Jefferson as Secretary of State and Alexander Hamilton as Secretary of the Treasury. This move set the precedent for the president surrounding himself with a team of advisors. Washington also played a crucial role in the ratification of the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. These amendments guaranteed fundamental rights and freedoms, addressing concerns raised by anti-federalists during the ratification process. Economically, Hamilton's financial plan, endorsed by Washington, aimed to stabilize the nation's finances and establish credit. This plan included the assumption of state debts, the creation of a national bank, and the imposition of tariffs. While controversial, these measures helped establish the economic foundations of the new government. Washington's farewell address in 1796 is another crucial aspect of his first presidency. In this influential speech, he offered advice to the nation, warning against the dangers of political parties, entangling foreign alliances, and sectionalism. His emphasis on unity and the avoidance of foreign conflicts resonates in American political thought to this day. Perhaps one of the most significant aspects of Washington's first presidency was his voluntary decision to step down after serving 2 terms. By doing so, he set a precedent for the peaceful transition of power, reinforcing the principle of civilian control over the military and avoiding the development of a long-standing executive authority. In conclusion, George Washington's first presidency was a time of nation-building and establishing crucial precedents. His leadership, both in creating the structures of the federal government and in voluntarily relinquishing power, played a fundamental role in shaping the United States into the nation it is today. Now we dive into another critical period in American history, the second presidency of George Washington. Following his unanimous election to a second term, Washington served as president from 1793 to 1797. Let's explore the key events and challenges during this time. One of the prominent issues during Washington's second term was the outbreak of conflicts in Europe, particularly the war between revolutionary France and Great Britain. Washington faced the difficult task of maintaining American neutrality while navigating the complex and evolving relationships with these European powers. This led to the formulation of the Proclamation of Neutrality in 1793, in which Washington declared that the United States would not take sides in the ongoing European conflict. However, despite Washington's efforts to remain neutral, tensions escalated, and issues such as the impressment of American sailors by the British and disputes over trade complicated the situation. This eventually led to the signing of Jay's Treaty in 1795, which aimed to address some of these issues. Although controversial, the treaty helped avoid a full-scale war with Great Britain. Another significant development during Washington's second term was the Whiskey Rebellion of 1794. This uprising in western Pennsylvania was a response to an excise tax imposed on distilled spirits. Washington's decisive action in sending federal troops to quell the rebellion demonstrated the federal government's ability to enforce its laws and maintain order. Additionally, Washington continued to grapple with issues related to Native American relations and westward expansion. The signing of the Treaty of Greenville in 1795 with several Native American tribes aimed to address territorial disputes and establish peace in the Northwest Territory. One of Washington's last major contributions during his second term was his farewell address in 1796. In this address, he offered advice and warnings to the nation as he prepared to retire from public life. He emphasized the importance of unity, the dangers of political factions, and the need to avoid permanent foreign alliances. Washington's decision to step down from the presidency for a second time in 1797 was a crucial moment in American history. By voluntarily relinquishing power once again, he reinforced the principle of a peaceful transition of leadership, setting a precedent for future presidents. In conclusion, George Washington's second presidency was marked by both domestic and international challenges. His ability to navigate these issues while upholding the principles of the young nation showcased his leadership and contributed significantly to the establishment of the United States as a stable and respected entity on the world stage. We're going to explore the final chapter in the life of George Washington, focusing on his retirement and eventual passing. This period, from the end of his presidency in 1797 until his death in 1799, is crucial in understanding the legacy of this founding father. After serving 2 terms as president, George Washington was determined to retire from public life and return to Mount Vernon. His farewell address, delivered in 1796, not only expressed his gratitude to the American people but also emphasized the importance of unity, the dangers of political factions, and the need to avoid permanent foreign alliances. Washington's decision to voluntarily step down from the presidency for the second time was a testament to his commitment to the principles of the Republic. Upon his return to Mount Vernon, Washington focused on his beloved estate and engaged in agricultural pursuits. He envisioned a peaceful retirement, enjoying the tranquility of his plantation. However, events in the wider world soon demanded his attention. Tensions between France and the United States increased, leading to the possibility of war. President John Adams, Washington's successor, sought his guidance, and Washington was commissioned as the senior officer in a provisional army. Though he didn't see active military service, his willingness to serve once again demonstrated his sense of duty to the nation. Tragically, George Washington's retirement was short-lived. On December 14, 1799, at the age of 67, he succumbed to a severe throat infection. His death was a profound loss for the nation. News of his passing spread quickly, and the United States mourned the loss of its beloved founding father. Washington's funeral, held at Mount Vernon, was a solemn occasion. He was laid to rest in a family tomb on the estate. The nation mourned not only the man but also the symbol of leadership and stability that Washington represented. In the years that followed, Washington's legacy continued to grow. Eulogies and tributes poured in from across the nation, and his image became an enduring symbol of virtue and leadership. His life and contributions were celebrated in countless monuments, including the iconic Washington, D.C., named in his honor. In conclusion, George Washington's retirement and eventual passing marked the end of an era. His death left a profound impact on the young United States, but his legacy lived on, shaping the ideals and aspirations of the nation he helped create. The enduring image of Washington as the father of his country persists, reminding us of the foundational role he played in the birth of the United States.